Hi, my name is Missy and I'm a killer whale trainer here at SeaWorld San Diego. We received a question from Danielle asking, are the killer whales allowed in the main pool when shows are not occurring? The answer is yes, they are. Throughout the day, our killer whales have access to multiple pools throughout our killer whale facility, including the main pool. When we're not doing shows and training sessions, we do offer the whales different types of enrichment, and this will include kelp, ice, snow piles, and you're going to see them swimming around, interacting with each other, and relaxing. Thanks for all the great questions. Keep them coming at AskSeaWorld.com.
Hi, my name is Allison, and I'm a killer whale trainer here at SeaWorld Orlando. We received a question from Annalise asking if killer whales could hear their trainers talking. Well, the answer is yes, they can hear us talking, but the more effective way to communicate with them is through hand signals, which asks them for behaviors, and our whistle, which lets them know that's what we were looking for, and that some type of reinforcement is on the way. Thanks for your question, Annalise. For more information, visit AskSeaWorld.com.
We received questions on Ask SeaWorld if we get into the water with our beluga whales here in Orlando, and we absolutely do. That's one of our big sessions that we do for stimulation. It's always going to be different. It's not something that we do on a daily basis because we always want it to be enriching for these guys. We work really hard with our relationships, and that's just one aspect of building that relationship.
Hi, I'm Jody from SeaWorld's rescue team, and we got a really interesting question from Greg. And that question was, do we offer live fish to our animals before they're ready to be returned to the wild? We actually offer live fish to the animals at the start of their rehabilitation process. This is going to kick in their natural instinct to want to hunt and fish for these prey items. And it's almost like a light switch goes off. Then throughout the rehabilitation process, we can start to feed them sustainable, freshly frozen seafood. Before the animals are returned, they need to pass 4 criteria. They need to prove that they can catch and eat live fish. They need a clean bill of health from our veterinary team. They need to have gained a significant amount of weight so that they're returned at what would be a normal weight for California sea lion in the wild. And they need to show that they can compete in an environment for food. We love the questions. Keep them coming at AskSeaWorld.com.
There's been a lot of lies circulating about how we take care of our animals here at SeaWorld. The truth is, SeaWorld is recognized as a world leader in animal care. But that's not what the groups behind the film Blackfish or PETA wants to make you to believe. In letters to schools, PETA accuses SeaWorld of keeping its killer whales in over-chlorinated tanks. I want to introduce you to Michael Tucker, who is in charge of maintaining water quality here at SeaWorld.
To test for chlorine, we use what's called a colorimetric test. The presence of a pink color denotes the presence of chlorine. As you can see right away, there's a lot of chlorine in our tap water. So the water that you actually use to brush your teeth, drink, and shower in has more chlorine in it than any facility here at SeaWorld.
We take great measure to ensure that the water our killer whales are swimming in is healthy. For instance, here at SeaWorld San Diego, we maintain what's called a natural seawater semi-open system. When it's time to bring in new water, we return the pool water back to Mission Bay, cleaner than it was when we brought it in. We also keep our pools at a perfect 58 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Now that may seem cool to us, but that's a perfect temperature for a killer whale. The truth is, at SeaWorld, we've dedicated our lives to taking care of these amazing animals. We know you love these whales, and we love them too.
There's been a lot of talk about SeaWorld in the news and on social media lately, and it has a lot of people asking questions, and I totally understand that. So that's why I'm here today at the Killer Whale Fish Prep area to answer a question that we get quite a bit. It comes from Jake on Twitter, and he asks, is it true you deprive whales of their food if they don't perform? Thanks for the question, Jake. I know you've heard that from PETA, and you'll see it in the movie Blackfish, but I'm telling you it's definitely not true. But don't just take my word for it. One of the stars of Blackfish, his name is John Hargrove, and he tweeted, any trainer that held back food from a whale was a poor trainer and using techniques not taught to us in the SeaWorld system. Listen, I don't agree with John on much, but he is spot on that tweet. We would never deprive our whales or any of the animals here at SeaWorld of the food that they need, which means we go through a lot of fish, about 30,000 pounds a week to be exact, and that's just here in Orlando. So let's go take a look at everything that goes into feeding our killer whales every single day. Hi, Nugget! So if you've been to SeaWorld, you've probably seen trainers carrying around buckets full of fish. What you don't see is all the work that goes into getting the fish into those buckets and ready for the whales each day. Every week, 30,000 pounds of fish is delivered to the park. It's taken into a deep freezer and kept really, really cold. I mean, right now it's 18 below zero in there. Then every night we take only the fish we need for the next day and move that to another cooler to slowly thaw. Then early the next morning, that fish is moved again into the commissary, where it's rinsed and examined, weighed, and sorted. Any fish that's damaged doesn't make the cut and is thrown away. After all of that, the trainers put the fish into buckets for the whales. Now each whale has its own set of buckets, and they're labeled. CAT stands for Katina. This would be Makayo, her 4-year-old little boy. Nick, why don't you talk about the buckets?
All right, well, obviously each whale has their own individual diet. So we just want to make sure that the fish we're giving them has the proper amount of protein, fat, and other nutrients that they need. Each fish is different. For example, the capelin has a high water content which helps keep the whales hydrated, while the herring has more fat to them.
So our veterinary staff creates a customized diet for each whale based on its size, its gender, its age, and as the whales change, then our vets change their diets too. For example, if one of our females is pregnant or lactating, we'll alter her diet and give her more calories, and that's really important because she's burning more energy. And now for the final step in the process. We get to say good morning to the whales and have our first of many feedings for the day. As you can see, there's a lot that goes into preparing the food that we feed to our killer whales. But it's work that we love because we've dedicated our lives to taking care of these animals, and we would never deprive them of the food that they need. I've been around here for 28 years as an animal trainer, and I've never done it. I've never seen anybody do it, and we never will. So Jake, I hope that clears things up for you. And for the rest of you guys, keep the questions coming. We know you love these whales, and we love them too.
Hi everyone, I'm trainer Jacqueline, and I'm here with my dolphin friends, Sandy, Malibu, and Captain. Today we're here to tell you a little bit more about how we train our dolphins. Here at SeaWorld we use operant conditioning with positive reinforcement. That simply said just means when the dolphins do something correct, we show them by giving them something that they like in return. This could be fish, this could be a rub down, some playtime, or even some toys. All these different things are reinforcers that help us convey our message.
Hi, I'm Julie Scardina, Animal Ambassador for SeaWorld and Busch Gardens. We were recently asked, my child saw your animals at a school presentation earlier this year. Is it humane to take animals out of the parks for things like this? The safety and well-being of our animals and guests are the priorities when we travel. Our team of zoo professionals stay with the animals 24/7 when traveling. The goal of taking our animals into the community is to educate and inspire people to care for animals. Very few people have the opportunity to watch a bird like a scarlet ibis fly, experience the softness of an otter's paw, or smell a penguin's fishy breath. As part of our outreach program, we travel with a variety of animals all over the country. When we attend large public events, visit schools, TV studios, or hospitals, we provide animals with a variety of activities and places to spend their time. For a bird, it might be a choice of a perch or the trainer they know best. For an otter, a pool, a walk on a leash, play, or snuggle time. These options provide the animals variety, stimulation, and companionship throughout the visit. These animals have strong relationships with their trainers and are trained for all aspects of travel using positive reinforcement, which is why they are comfortable in often unique settings. Our animal ambassadors recognize their kennels and are comfortable traveling in them. The kennels have appropriate perches and other materials for comfort. The animals regard their kennels as a safe and relaxing place in which to travel. Our animal ambassador visits can inspire excitement for the amazing natural world we share with some of the coolest animals on Earth.
A lot of people ask me, does Tillicum spend his days alone? Absolutely not. Tillicum spends a whole lot of time with Trua, his grandson. These guys play a lot together, and actually right now they're gonna go get a couple of their toys.
So guests at SeaWorld might see tilikum swimming in front of our large underwater viewing panels. They might see him playing with toys. They might see him in a show, or they might see him at rest. Because you see, like all animals, killer whales do rest. When the public interacts with tilikum behind those large panels of glass, that's one thing. But the shows are when they really get engaged, because he sends so much 55-degree salt water into their laps that there's nothing else for them to do but engage with tilikum the killer whale.
Hi everyone, Trainer Missy here at Shamu Stadium. One of the questions we got is, how is baby Amaya doing? She's doing awesome. She's just under 8 months old. She has all of her teeth. She's just starting to explore and eat fish, but she's still nursing for mom. Some of the fun things she really enjoys right now are, one, playing with her trainers. She really loves bucket pours with water, and she also loves kelp, and one of her most favorite things is playing with her Uncle Makani.
Get it clear.
Probably. Oh, there it is. She's like, let me have that, Mom. Got it. Oh, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Good shot. Whoa, my.
Here she goes.
I gotta gobble it all up. I gotta get it.
That one. I'm gonna get this one.
Oh, there's more.
She's like, so many, I don't know which one to get. She's also mimicking the behaviors that the other whales are doing. Show your baby. Let me see that tongue. Let me see it. There it is. Amaya is also participating in her own health care. We've been able to ultrasound her to test her blubber thickness and also get measurements on her weekly. Some other really cool things that Amaya's starting to learn and do is you're gonna see she always seems to enjoy her trainers rubbing her down. She's very sensitive to touch, just like the other whales, but she seems to really enjoy that right now. Make sure you come by and say hello to Amaya and her family.
There's been a lot of unfair criticism about SeaWorld these days, and it has a lot of people asking questions, which I totally get. So today what we're here to do is to try to answer one of those key questions that almost everybody has about our killer whales. So the question comes from Kylie on Twitter, and Kylie asks, PETA says killer whales in the wild live 30 to 50 years on average, but your whales have an average lifespan of only 9 years. Is that true? Kylie, firstly, thank you for asking the question. And I gotta tell you, it's absolutely not true. But you don't just have to take our word for it. Some of the best marine mammal researchers in the world work for the federal government at the Alaska Fisheries Science Center. You know what they found? That killer whales that live at SeaWorld live just as long as killer whales in the wild. In fact, one of the authors of that report told the Wall Street Journal, quote, survival in the wild is comparable to survival in captivity. That doesn't happen by accident. The reason our killer whales are living long lives, thriving and healthy here at SeaWorld is because of the comprehensive healthcare program that we can provide for them.
Yeah, so let's just switch over to Trua so we can push that.
We've really just been monitoring her for hormonal activity to see if she's cycling normally, but health-wise, everything has looked really normal.
Let's just look at her from Trua.
Every single day, SeaWorld vets and animal care staff do a thorough examination of every whale. We may measure the whale to see what their pattern of growth is. We may collect body weights from the whales. The veterinarians will check urine, will collect cells from their airway. We can culture those things, look under a microscope, and look for trends in the health of that individual whale.
And then how much serum are we banking? As much as we can get?
As much as we can get.
Okay.
That way we
Okay.
have lots of serum banked for all the researchers that are coming along and wanting serum.
Okay, we collect bloods from all of our killer whales. We can identify subtle changes in their blood results that will give us a hint as to whether a killer whale is beginning to become sick. And then we can intervene early and stave off the illness altogether.
Yeah, I've been able to upload it into his record. This eye looked great. It looked completely normal.
All of these tests allow us to very, very closely monitor the health of each and every single killer whale. And that's why we're here. That's why we've got the largest killer whale care staff in the world. I'm a veterinarian, and just like doctors, we veterinarians take an oath. I wouldn't work here if I wasn't able to give these whales the world-class care they deserve. So don't believe what PETA and Blackfish are saying. Our killer whales live lives just as long as killer whales in the wild. We hope that answers your question, Kylie, and thank you very much for asking it. We know you love killer whales, and boy, I'll tell you, we love killer whales too. So please keep those questions coming. We're eager to answer every single one.
Hi, my name is Kristen. I'm one of the killer whale trainers here at SeaWorld of Orlando. We get the question a lot, how is Tilikum doing? Well, actually, the truth is he is doing great. He does a variety of different interactions every single day, including shows, playtimes, and interacting with enrichment devices. He spends a lot of time with his grandson, Trua, who is 9 years old. In fact, in this video clip here today, you can see him and Trua playing together.
Hi, I'm Tanner. Another question that we've received on Ask SeaWorld is, why do we call tricks behaviors? Well, a lot of the things that you see our killer whales doing here in the park are actually behaviors that they would exhibit in the wild. Things like sliding out into the shallow areas, spy hopping, and breaching are all things that wild killer whales do to scratch an itch or communicate with each other or catch their prey.
Most people don't realize that the vast majority of our killer whales were born in our care. Behind me is Kalia and her 4.5-month-old calf, Amaya. She is just one of over 30 successful killer whale calves we've had born in our parks. Recently, we got a question on this exact topic from Sammy on Twitter. Sammy asks, so you say you don't collect the whales from the wild. Where do they come from then? Thank you for your question, Sammy. The truth is, SeaWorld hasn't collected a killer whale from the wild in over 35 years. For your reference, that's back when President Carter was in the White House. I understand that some people are uncomfortable with the fact that killer whales were once taken from the wild, but the world has changed a lot since then, and we have changed with it. So we want to share more about how our killer whales are helping us to protect their counterparts in the wild.
There are a lot of different groups that are saying things like, well, there's nothing that we can learn from whales in captivity. In the case of my research, that's absolutely not the case.
PETA and other critics of SeaWorld have said that there's no value in keeping killer whales in captivity. I disagree with that.
My area of expertise is bioacoustics, which is understanding animal communication and perception, and I'm interested in the dialects of killer whales.
My research focuses on trying to understand natural carbon monoxide levels that are produced in mammals.
Our work on heart rate is allowing us to develop the tools to examine the electrocardiogram and actually know that we are getting an accurate record of heart rate in the animals while they're diving. Once we've accomplished this here at SeaWorld, we can now use these techniques when we go to sea and put these on animals at sea to see how these animals are able to dive as deep and as long as they do.
The work that we're doing is important for helping to manage the killer whales in the wild because we're learning about the flexibility and the adaptability of their dialect system in a way that you can't plan an experiment like this in the wild.
Having whales at SeaWorld is a great opportunity for scientists like myself to come here and collect very controlled samples that are otherwise impossible to collect in the wild.
Those are just 3 examples of more than a dozen research projects we're working on to benefit killer whales everywhere. We're proud of the work that we've done, but we're committed to doing even more. That's why we recently announced we're investing $10 million, the largest private investment of its kind, for studying and protecting killer whales in the wild. The truth is, we love these whales. We've dedicated our lives and careers to giving them world-class care today and for years to come. Thanks again for the question, and keep them coming.
We received a question, what does it take to be a sea lion and otter trainer? Well, not only should you have a preferred degree and be a proficient swimmer and have a passion for animals, here at Sea Lion and Otter Stadium, you also need to be an excellent performer. Right, Clyde? Something unique to Sea Lion and Otter Stadium is that our animals can be with us in the water and on land. This allows us to perform unique behaviors as well as complex behaviors like swimming with them in the water. It doesn't matter if you're working with a 500-pound sea lion, a 50-pound sea otter, or a 10-pound Asian small-cod otter. The training process is all the same. It's based on positive reinforcement and hinges on building a strong relationship with our animals. The best part of our day is maintaining our relationship with our animals. We can do this through sessions like relate and play, and sometimes the best way to get to know your animal is to teach them something new. Thanks for the question, and keep them coming at AskSeaWorld.com.
Hi guys, I'm Dr. Lara Croft, one of the veterinarians here at SeaWorld Orlando. A lot of folks are curious about just what it takes to be a veterinarian at SeaWorld. There's lots of veterinarians here and we all took slightly different paths, but there's a few things in common. The first is pretty obvious, you have to go to veterinary school. Then second, all of us have had at least 1 year of training with domestic animals to really hone our medical and surgical skills. And then finally, we all did some postgraduate training to work with exotic animals, and that prepared us for working at SeaWorld with a huge variety of animals, everything from sea turtles to killer whales. All the veterinarians at SeaWorld have to be caring and compassionate towards all animals, but we also have to have a sense of adventure. With our rescue program, we never know where we're going to end up or what each day may bring.
Hi, I'm Tanner. We've received a lot of questions through Ask SeaWorld about what it takes to become a killer whale trainer. Well, everyone's path is different. I started here about 10 years ago and I got my degree in psychology and I did some internships working with other species of animals. And here at SeaWorld, I've worked not only with our killer whales, but with our otters, sea lions, and walruses. And when we look to hire new trainers, we prefer people with a psychology or animal science degree. You have to be a strong swimmer. We've got a swim test that you have to pass in order to get an interview for the job. And you have to have a passion for animals. Hi, my name is Tanner. We received a question from Jasmine wanting to know how much does an average killer whale weigh? Well, Jasmine, the average adult female weighs between 5,000 and 8,000 pounds. This is Makayo. He's one of our juvenile males. Right now at 4.5 years old, he weighs in at 2,000 pounds. But eventually when he's full grown, he could be between 8,000 and 12,000 pounds. Thanks for your question, Jasmine. To learn more, visit SeaWorldCares.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck Crow. We got a very popular question in from our friend Gracie, who wants to know, what's it like to be a dolphin trainer? Well, I can tell you that Jamie and I have been training dolphins here at SeaWorld San Antonio for a very long time. It's a very worthwhile and rewarding career. But there's a lot of different things we have to take into consideration, a lot of different responsibilities. Now that includes things like preparing the food for them to eat every day, and also cleaning up in their environment, which sometimes means getting in the water and scuba diving. Another one of our important responsibilities is to provide a mentally stimulating environment for these animals. Now, we do that in a number of different ways. We have different types of interactions, or what we call sessions with the animals. For example, right now, Jamie's just playing with the animals. Now, this is one way that we strengthen our relationship with them. Other types of interactions that we have with these animals are husbandry sessions, where we actually train the animals to cooperate with us so that we can give them good medical care. Another session is a play session, and just as the name implies, it is a lot of fun. We just simply play with the animals in a wide variety of ways. And lastly, we have shows, which is actually a culmination of different types of sessions. Within a show, believe it or not, we have learning sessions, play sessions, and relationship building sessions. They all come together to present these magnificent animals to our public. So Gracie, to answer your question, being a dolphin trainer here at SeaWorld is absolutely fantastic. It's a worthwhile career. Bottom line is it gives us the opportunity to connect you with these amazing animals.
Hi, I'm John. Recently we've received several questions regarding our killer whales and why we offer them gelatin. Well, that's a great question. We use gelatin as one of the ways to positively reinforce our killer whales. They have a lot of fun playing with it, and they eat it too. They seem to enjoy the consistency and the texture, and it's also an additional source of hydration for the whales. We have all different types of reinforcement that we offer our killer whales, things like ice cubes, snowballs, water pours, and even an ice back rub. And the whales really seem to enjoy these.